in 1927, in which he is speaking of how Europe, the European whites, must be bred out by colors. And they are doing it, you can see it. All the young men they're pushing into, black men they're pushing into Europe. The European woman is gonna get impregnated. A fucking evil thing is happening in the Ukraine. That Zelensky is assisting the globalists in killing off the Ukraine young men. So that's going to leave a massive pool of women there. And I am sure that the next stage in the plan there is they're going to flood Ukraine with black immigrants. They're going to breed the Ukrainian nation out of existence. And this is what the Shonas are doing in Zimbabwe. They are bastardizing the Ndebeles, and they're proud of it. They brag about it. So, the tribes in South Africa better open their eyes and understand. Triple X is not playing. They don't play games. They're very serious. I have said it many times, that it is only the tribes that can survive. Only the tribes can survive. And for these people that are floating around in South Africa that don't know who their tribe is, I feel sorry for you. You are cannon fodder. Triple X are going to feed you to the cannons. That is what's going to happen to you. That is why you've been bred. You've been bred for that purpose. But those of us that care about our tribes and the future of our children better take note that the onslaught is vicious. And I have said it many times in my skid marks that the future of the Boer tribe is very closely connected to the future of the Zulu tribe. But after my encounter with the people from Matabele land, I have to come to the conclusion that we need a cultural alliance between the Zulus, the Boer, and the Ndebele. Now here is the big thing that you must be very aware of. The Ndebele, the Boer, and the Zulus are the only three tribes that ever fought the British and won the British. The British hate those three tribes, and they will not stop their shit before they've wiped those three tribes out, or we wipe them out. The choice is ours. Are we going to allow them to wipe us out? But, let me repeat it, we need cultural alliances between the Ndebele, the Boer, and the Zulus. Those are the only three tribes that has got a proven and documented warrior history. The Ndebele, the Boer, and the Zulus are not soldiers. They're warriors. There's a big difference between a soldier and a warrior. A soldier follows commands. A warrior fights for what is right. Don't forget that. So these three warrior tribes will have to sit around a fire and discuss this shit, because our existence is depending on it. Now, there is an existing treaty between the Boer and the Zulus, signed on the banks of the Pongola River. And one of the clauses in that treaty is that if the Zulus is attacked, the Boer will assist them. If the Boer is attacked, the Zulus will assist them. It's there. That treaty is in place. There is also a very solid friendship treaty between the Boer and the Ndebele. Don't forget that. So we've got the basics already right. All that is left is that the tribal leaders must sit together and sit around a fire and sort this thing out and make the decision and make the plan of how we are going to resist this evil globalists. If we don't do that, we are all going to be in deep trouble. Deep trouble. Now, I know that the Tswanas also have a drive for independence. And I know that there's a section in the Xhosas, same. But the difference is, the Xhosas and the Tswanas has never fought the British. They never. They just surrendered to the British. The same as the Shonas. They surrendered to the British. The Shonas are basically British lapdogs. They've got a lot of talk, wata, 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 wata. But they're under full control of London. Don't forget that. Now, for these three warrior tribes that I've been talking about, we must not be stupid. There is a potential ally that can make a major difference. And that ally is Russia. Don't forget that. And then think again. Zulus, Boer, Ndebele, Russians. Who will be able to stop us? Who? I ask you. But the first and most important thing is, the Zulus need to understand that the Shonas are coming for them. And the nightmare is, there is already thousands of those Shonas here in South Africa. You must ask yourself, why, how the fuck did it happen that our border basically disappeared? And you've got guys like Malema. He is inviting these immigrants into South Africa. And there's many of the farm killings that Zimbabweans are involved, but they always just say Zimbabweans. They don't tell you that it is Shonas. They don't do it. We know that Eugene Terreblanche was killed by Shonas. So, wake up, Zulus, wake up. There has already been enormous damage inflicted on your culture. And you better take note of that, because that is, destroying your culture is the first step in destroying your nation. Don't forget that. That is how they do it. That is what has been done to the Ndebele in Zimbabwe, just across the river from us. So, you don't need to try and imagine. Just go and look what is happening, and you will know. So, let me conclude. It is my personal opinion, the future of the Boer, the Ndebele, and the Zulus depends on a cultural alliance between those three tribes. And I'm saying cultural because no fucking politician can be trusted. The politicians are all part of XXX. Don't forget that. That is also why you see these politicians are vehemently opposed towards anything tribal. Because they know if the tribes take their land back and take control of their lives back and go independent, there is no room for politicians. Because the tribe don't need politicians. Tribes have been operating for centuries on a tribal council. That's what it was. A tribal council or a council of elders or a council of the wise men or whatever. No fucking politicians. This politician species was bred specifically by XXX to fuck us, the citizens, up. That you must never forget. And I mean, the Shonas are making a joke about Mandela and Ramaphosa and Zuma. They laugh at them. And they say those leaders are weak. They're useless. They're gutless. That's what they are saying. But yet, the tribes is not taking notice of it. And I feel very sorry for the small tribes in South Africa. You're going to get wiped out. That is what's going to happen. The Boer is also a small tribe, but at least we are a warrior tribe. And you can see it everywhere. We're fighting. We're fighting for our cultural rights and all of that. Yes, it has not turned into a physical war yet, but we are resisting all the cock that they're trying to push onto us. But I feel sorry for the small tribes. And I have mentioned it now that the Ndebele, the Boer and the Zulus needs a cultural alliance. And it will be for the small tribes to join that. Join that alliance. Because it will be to your benefit. The Tswanas and the Xhosas. Yeah, you're not warriors. But you should join. So that we can resist this triple X. And the first thing that will happen, if the tribes take back control of their tribal land, politicians are going to disappear. Just imagine that. What a blessing that will be to all of us if the politicians are wiped off the table. That is the only way forward. But I am really concerned about the Zulus, because the Shonas has made no secret about it. They want the Zulu tribe wiped out. And the problem for the Zulus is, the Shonas are amongst them already. They're here. But it seems to me, the Zulus are not paying attention to that. And your problem is, the fucking politicians is aware of it, and they encourage it, and they protect them. Let that sink in. Don't forget that. So, think about these things, because it is your children's future that is at risk here. We have allowed the ANC to get away with a cultural murder. And you must understand what is actually the plan behind this SASA breeding program. First of all, they need the numbers to create the chaos. That is what that SASA babies are being bred for. But what you must now take into consideration, each one of those young girls that has a baby, their education is... So those mothers are going to be uneducated and dumb. And that is exactly what the Shonas are doing to the Ndebele women in Zimbabwe. Don't be stupid, boys. I was worried about, not worried, but I concerned and questioned the SASA breeding program a lot of times. But I never realized this sinister reality of that breeding program. That breeding program is to prevent the mothers from getting educated. Fucking clever. Very evil, but clever. Now there's more. The SASA breeding program is beginning to make more sense to me. The big challenge is going to be, does the tribes have the discipline to stop that shit? If they don't do it, they're gone. And to those keyboard warriors and the racists that come into my channel and make all sorts of nasty comments and so forth, you must just understand one thing very clearly. I don't give a continental fuck whether you are getting wiped out or not. I am mainly concerned about my tribe, the Boer tribe. If you get wiped out, sad for you. But you should actually listen to what I'm saying to you, because it is your future that is at stake. And you can hate me, I'm a white racist and I don't know what the fuck else. I don't give a shit. You can call me what you like. And you must understand, I am not going to weep if your tribe is wiped out. It was your choice to allow your tribe to be wiped out. Now, why must I feel shit about that? But if you are wise, you will pay attention to what I'm saying. Think about that. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous if you look at the lengths that the Shonas has already gone in destroying the Ndebele tribe in Zimbabwe. Listen to this. The Ndebele subjected the Shona people to the worst forms of violence was a virtue in Zululand, and perhaps continues to be this day. No one doubts that the assertion that violence flows in Ndebele blood comes from Zululand. But the reality is, in Zimbabwe, the Ndebele resisted the British, fought the British, and then the British gave arms to the Shonas through, listen carefully, through the British missionaries. Those fucking missionaries. They were arming the people to fight the Ndebele. Same shit they did in Zululand. Same thing. The British missionaries. Same. They stirred the shit in Zululand and they armed the people. It seems to me there's a lot of people that don't understand how fucking evil that British really are. They are Satan's soldiers. Take note. Soldiers. What is the difference between a soldier and a warrior? A soldier takes commands. A warrior fights for the cause. Don't forget that. So, let me conclude. It is my opinion that the future of the Boer, the Ndebele, and the Zulus lies in a cultural alliance between the three. Think about that, and you can write your comments. But I'm saying again, come into my comments and swear at me, and you've gone. You don't swear at me. You don't do that. You can voice your opinion. That's what you can do. And I am deeply disturbed by the things I read in that ZANU PF documentation. It is brutal. It is evil. But I have mentioned a few of the things there. You make up your own mind. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.